Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new live session of Customily. We are going to get started in just 2 minutes. If you can all hear me and see me well, we are going to get started with today's class. Remember that this live session is being recorded and later uploaded to our YouTube channel, along with all past live sessions. You can watch each episode again and also find the assets in the description so you can replicate the products you see on the videos. If you're joining us for the first time, you'll probably wonder, what is Customily? Well, Customily is an app that installs on your e-commerce store and provides your shoppers with live previews of personalizable products. With Customily, your shoppers will be able to interact with options by typing text, selecting fonts, colors, images, and even locations, as well as uploading their own pictures. Each interaction will show them live how the personalization will look on the finished product, enhancing the shopping experience and increasing your conversion rate. In this example of kids' pajamas, we have a choice for selecting the pattern, and when we pick different images, we actually get to see how the pattern will look on the finished product. Of course, this is a basic customization, but you can add names and custom text that we are going to be playing with that today as well. In this example, you will see that these patterns will always change in the preview of the real product. Now, the way this works is that Customily will load a template on the left side and an option set on the right side of your store for each product. So within the app, you will have many tools to create these templates and these option sets. But that's not all. Apart from the live preview, Customily will take the personalization information from the orders you receive and create a printing file that's ready for you to take to whatever service or business that will fulfill your products. So imagine how much time our tool is saving you. If you think back to the way you used to offer personalized products, how you had to collect the shopper's data, create proofs, wait for feedback, make corrections, and much more. All that time and effort has been reduced and automated with Customily's live preview and production file to make your work faster and easier. So now that we know that Customily is a great tool for your online store and that it will help you optimize the shopping experience of your visitors, we can start learning about the app itself. It's important that you approach it with some clear concepts about your business. I highly recommend you ask yourself some questions before starting. The first one is about the current status of your store. Will I be creating new products, either for an empty new store or for a new collection in an existing store? Or will I be selling my existing products and turning them customizable? If you're working with existing products, you will use what we call Customily 1.0. With this, you will be creating templates from scratch and then linking them to your existing products, all from the app itself. The options that your shoppers will use will be created automatically, so you don't need to worry about having to code anything. This direct way of using Customily is available for all e-commerce platforms that we integrate with, and you can see them on the slide, as well as any custom-coded store. Now, if you will be creating new products, more questions will pop up. Am I doing my own fulfillment, for example, with my own workshop or a local company? Or am I fulfilling with a known print-on-demand supplier? And then, do I have my own designs that will be personalized? Or will I be using pre-made designs from Customily? These two questions will be the entry point to use what we call Customily 2.0. This is our latest update and will allow you to create new listings more easily, faster, and better. This option is only available for Etsy and Shopify stores. So within Customily 2.0, you will have 4 ways of creating new products. If you're working with known POD providers, you have two options. You can select a product from their catalog and then add an exclusive design that our illustration team has created for you. These are royalty-free designs and clip arts that you can freely use and manage. Or you can select a product from their catalog and use our design studio to create your own designs that can be personalizable. On the other hand, if you're going to fulfill on your own, you have two similar options. You can automate processes by creating product bases, which are the product mockups of what you want to sell and will act the same way as the POD products. And then you can add a custom design to the product base or create your own custom design in a design studio to use over your product base. Each time you combine a product base with a design, a new template is born and linked to a new listing that Customily automatically creates in your store for you. Product bases can be from a POD catalog or your own, and designs can be from a Customily collection or your own. The result will be the same. In the case of POD's products, the listing will be connected to the print-on-demand supplier using an API key, so each time there's a purchase, Customily can automatically send a print file for fulfillment, so more time-saving advantages. So when you access Customily for the first time, pay attention and complete the onboarding you will get, as it will help you answer many of the questions stated before. Then you can see the different sections of the app, and based on your answers, you can easily navigate through them. Here we are in the Start section. Here. This is the 2.0 main interface, where you can create new products, either using print-on-demand suppliers, like the ones you see integrated, or your own product bases. You also have a quick view of your design collection and your product base collection. If you check the left menu, you can see that these two collections have their own sections also. In the template section, you'll be able to create new templates and also see all the templates that have been created automatically with the 2.0 tools. This is the core section of the app, and you can create, you can rename, you can clone or delete and edit any template. In the libraries section, you'll be able to upload your personal assets and organize them for quick access and use. You can create colors, fonts, vectors, and image libraries. And this is very important to remember because Customily is an asset manager, not an asset creator. Your images, designs, fonts, etc. will be created or purchased outside of the app. For example, you can create images in Canva, download them in JPG or PNG files, and then organize them in Customily's libraries for later use in templates and designs. In the store section, you can see all the products currently in your store, whether they are draft or active, and see those products linked to Customily, which templates and option sets are loading, and of course, unlink or relink any product. You can also access many settings and styles to customize the front-end experience of your shoppers. The Orders section is a new feature and for now is only available for Shopify stores in beta version. Here, you will get a register for all orders made using Customily with backup information about the personalization data selected, the preview, and the print file. You should know that when independent from any e-commerce platform you are integrated, in that e-commerce order dashboard, you will always get the personalization information from Customily with the link to the preview and the link to the production file. So the order section in the app will be a backup for everything that will be mainly stored in your order dashboard in your e-commerce platform. Okay, now that we have a more clear idea of how to navigate over the app, we're going to create a product together. The product we want to create today is the kids pajama. Now, this is a multiple print file product. It's an all-over print that has different cutting pieces that we need to put together, or our tailoring service will put together after they print. So, as we mentioned before, Customily can show you the preview, but also it can print whatever you are displaying in the preview. So if we want to print this, one thing we need to have for clear is the print pieces of our product with the exact dimensions and shapes to be cut. So any piece of garment will have the following information. It's very important to pay attention to ensure you have all the assets. So in here you can see that our pajama basically has certain pieces to be put together. It has a front and back piece with this particular shape. It has the sleeves, left and right, and it has the legs, front and back. So basically, when you have this product, of course, these products may be available for for print-on-demand providers, but also you may have your own service. So in this particular tutorial, we're going to cover the fact that you will do this on your own. So you have your cutting patterns, you have your shape patterns, and everything is in the exact shape that you need this printed. So to begin with, you of course will need the printing patterns, and you will need them with transparency exactly in the place to be printed. In this case, our machine will discard the gray and will cut from the printed fabric the exact shape of this matrix, right? So from the front and back, it will cut this shape, then it will cut this for the sleeves and this for the legs. So having these three images with transparency on the part that is going to be printed is very important for what we need to do in Customily. Another thing that you will need is a product base, or basically a product image of a blank product. Why? Because basically we're going to put our design on top of this to preview this really nice and easy. Of course, when we present this finished product without any pattern, we need to make sure that whatever we show later in these particular designs will not bleed out of the shape of the of the clothing. So for that, we have the same shape of the product, but as a negative whole like this. Okay, so basically this is the same PNG file, only we cut off the shape of the fabric and the shape of the entire garment. So we're going to put one on top of the other and create sort of a sandwich in which we have the base, then we have the pattern, and then we have the shape to outline the pattern to the shape of the pajama. Then this will be a very flat image of the pattern. So if you want to add some extra effect, you can have transparent PNGs with the wrinkles and the shadow effects to create a more realistic view of the product. That's how you get this final result. Basically, what we see here is the base, the product base. We see the pattern, and then we see this shape that is cutting off the extra elements of the pattern just to show what the pajama will look. And because it's going to look very flat, we put over this as an overlay these two images to create the effect of the wrinkles. Now, the trick in Customily is that everything you see here is basically an overlapping of images that will create the effect, but it's not what is going to be printed. And that's why creating templates in Customily is so important when you have these complex products, because it will allow you to control what you need printed and what you need previewed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to retrieve new patterns we had, which were more crowded. Yeah, let's go this. And now we have these thick patterns we're going to use. So basically, we're going to use a new feature in Customily called multiple print files. We're going to create a print file for the front that will also serve as the back. We're going to create a print file for the legs, will also serve as front and back, and the sleeves will serve as left and right. So what we're going to do is start off in Customily and start off in the template section. Now, very important, we need a product to connect this template to, and we're going to create that in this case, we're going to use Shopify, but you could use any e-commerce platform, WooCommerce, Etsy, BigCommerce, Magento, anything you want that we can integrate with, can work with templates when we start in the template section and we create a new template. Basically, we are using Customily 1.0. We are creating the template from scratch instead of using automation tools. But this is very useful when you are in full control of what needs to be printed and what needs to be displayed in the end. So right now, when we start creating a new template, we are prompted with a name. Let's call this the live session pattern PJs. Yeah. And the size of the print area is very important. Now, in this case, we can start with a file with the pattern, but remember we need this to be transparent and cut off so we can print the exact shape of our front and back piece of fabric. So if you see, this has been saved with the exact print dimensions, which is basically 2611 by 2687. So we're going to start in pixels. You see here, we can change this 2611, 2687, right? Just double checking. Okay, and 300 dpi. So let's create a new page. This is a kid pajama, so the front is 22 by 22 centimeters, pretty much in here. We see the final dimension, and this is our design studio. This is our canvas for setting up our printing production file. And you can see the name of the template, you can see the dimensions of the print file, and you can see that we are setting up the production file settings. What do we need to create here? Well, basically everything we want customized. In this case, we have, for example, text boxes, so customers can type in straight or curved, whatever they want, changing fonts, changing colors. And of course, you can create placeholders so customers can upload their own images. Our shoppers will be able to upload their files, their logos. We have map tools, street map and star maps, so customers can pick locations and styles. We have dedicated live sessions to these tools that are really interesting. I invite you to watch them over. But finally, what we have are dynamic elements. Vectors and images are dynamic objects that can hold whatever graphics we have already in our system, either in libraries that we saw earlier, or we can upload them one by one. But it's very important to know that we can upload whatever content we have. Now, if we upload one content, for example, if we upload our cutting pattern here, right, that's going to be a permanent image, right, in the first option that we can just stretch to the edges of our canvas. Or we can click here in this tool. When we see the alignment tools, we see here to fit to the canvas. Okay, this is the first layer we have created. It's a dynamic image. We're going to call this the cut pattern, yeah. And Now we are going to create another dynamic image, but in this case, instead of uploading just one, I'm going to upload three, the three patterns I want to use. You can bulk upload many images and it will become choices for your customers. Basically, they will be able to choose between 1, 2, and 3 options. Right? We can preview them here. And as they choose, they will be able to customize their own. They will be able to customize their product. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this pattern to make sure I cover the cutting pattern. Of course, in this case, because of the proportions, I may want to align this to the center right there. So this is going to be our pattern select pattern, yeah. And since this is covering the cut pattern, we can pick this library and we can click, hold, and drag to the top to create the cutting effect. So basically, this will be our printed piece. Nothing more, nothing less. We're going to export this in PNG 300 dpi format, and that will be the end of our process. But what if we want to actually add, let's say we want to add a text box, right? We're going to add in the chest the chance for a custom name like this. Yeah, we're trying to see if we can avoid certain animals and stuff, so we can preview other patterns. Sorry, here we can preview this. Yeah, it could be somewhere in here, and we could put this between the hearts, right? So whenever we design, we are always paying attention to these details. Let's see if this looks better. Okay, well, we're going to stay with this. So this is a custom text. We can select, for example, try with a name. Okay. And if we open character, we can play around with the fonts. We can pick different fonts. In this case, we're going to pick a font library so we can add some font choices. Yeah. So right now you see this is our first font. This is the second. I don't know how many we have in this library, but we have a collection of different fonts we can have customers pick. Also, we can pick color and choose a color library so we can have, for example, this collection. Yeah. And customers will be able to pick their colors anywhere they want, right? So we were able to create a really interesting, we're going to double click this, type your name. We created a text element that can be customized on the front. When we print on the back, of course, we may not add this, but today, for the sake of the time we have, we will use front and back as the same file. You can always create a file that will be the back without the text. How do we create the next print file? Basically, we click here next to resize. When we click here, you create a new file, the second file, and we need to input the sleeves, for example. This will be 2468. Sorry, 2468 by 3770. Now we have a second file that we can start customizing. The way we did this is exactly the same way. We start with a cut pattern. That's a dynamic image with this cut pattern. We extend, and we call this cut pattern. Then we add another dynamic image, and we're going to add the same patterns here. So we upload this. Yeah. Now, very important, if we want this to change altogether, we need to make sure that this select pattern and this select pattern behave the same way. So That trick is done by making sure the IDs are the same. So if this is ID number 5, it will behave independently, and whatever we pick here will not reflect on the sleeves. And we don't want that, so we can go to element ID and make sure they have the same ID. They will behave exactly the same way. And we make sure that we have only one choice of pattern, but we affect all 3 pieces. So let's extend this exactly the way we did before. Okay, let's center this and extend here, right? That's our sleeves. We are going to do the third and last file of today by clicking here and retrieving the information of the legs. Legs are 34, 32. We need to always remember that this information should be from the very beginning. Otherwise, it will be hard for you to start figuring stuff out in Customily. You need to come with all the data ready, so you just put together stuff in the app to connect to the product. 4185. 4185. This is our file number 3. Again, dynamic image to upload our cut pattern. Extend to cover the entire print area. Rename this. Then create another dynamic image with the 3 patterns we're going to be choosing. Call this select pattern. And what am I missing about this step? The ID. Always make sure in this case, when we have all our print with different print files, that if they have the same ID, even if they have different print files, they will all behave the same way. Now we can extend this to the very edge in there. Like that. This is our new pattern in here. Select pattern and have the cut as well, right? So let's say, let's add some last interesting thing. Let's say we can, this is the front and the back. Again, we can actually put another text element for the leg, maybe like this, and try to print the name, right? The same Christopher name. Very interesting about this. The same way we do the select pattern with the same ID, we can actually replicate that type your name. So if we have this text element as number 3, and we put this text, this type your name, as number 3, they will behave the same way. And we make sure that even if we customize just one text element, we will change both texts at the same time. In this particular case, we may want to make sure that in the character part, we have the same library, which is Summer Vacation. For the fonts, we make sure that we center, not center, but align this to the left, so it will start from the top of the pant, right? Probably around this, yeah, in here. Okay, and the color will have a particular library in here. This is going to be the print colors, no, the demo colors, yeah, like that. So this is our file number 3. This will going to be the legs. This will be, number 2 will be the sleeves. And this will be the front back. Again, in an ideal scenario, we may have front and back for the, we will have front and we will have back. We'll have left and right sleeves, and we will have front and back legs. So this particular pajama will have 6 print files. We are building 3 just for the time we have available. Now that we have this setting for the production file, we are telling Customily that we are going to print 3 files, and they will behave exactly the way we established in here. Just like this, yeah? And we are ready to jump into the next stage of our template. Now, the next stage of the template is grabbing all these free files and put them together to create a nice preview. Remember that for the nice preview, we had some files ready. For example, this one, and these two for the wrinkle effect. And we were going to use them to put together our preview. And that preview will have nothing to do with our print. Let's check one question we saw there. Why did I say the element ID needs to be the same? That's a great question, and thank you for asking that. Let me show you directly. Let's type in here something like this and pick a color like this. So basically, when we have the same IDs, we retrieve the same content and we replicate the same behavior. So this type your name on the front has the same ID as the one on the legs. So you see how the content is the same. If I type this, I will go to front and back and I will see the content change at the same time. Why? Because we have the same ID. When you have the same ID, the behavior changes together. So in here, when I choose the the cloud pattern, I will see the same change in all number 2. So because I changed the pattern number 2, I will see the same here, and I will see the same here. Of course, not now, basically because this is a building process, and so you can preview everything independently. But when it comes to the final preview, whenever you pick here, you are changing the pattern on the front, on the sleeves, and on the legs at the same time. That's because you share the same ID. You will see that the options here are targeting a particular ID. So this choice is targeting ID number 2. So everything with ID number 2 will change the same way. If I type something on the text number 3, all text number 3 will change the same way. That's why we keep the same IDs for some items. So let's jump to the next stage. And on the next stage of the template, we put together the preview. When we have a very simple product and a very steady, flat image, we can start our preview with a background image as simple as that. But when we have complex previews, as we have today, we start with a background color, and the background color can be something you want or anything you may want to resemble the background of your page, of your store. In this case, we're going to stay with white, and we're going to make sure we have the biggest preview available, which is 1200 by 1200. Just like that, we set the background color, and we start with this blank canvas. Customily will bring all the information from the print all the way here. So we have all 3 files in here, all working together, all looking together, quite a mess. But don't worry, because we can just hide everything, just like that, and that's it. So far, we don't want to see this. We only want to create the mockups. So again, the tool we use to upload our own images are dynamic elements, dynamic images. And on the previous settings, on the previous stage of the template, the only item you can create is dynamic images, because you are already printing everything that can be customizable, and what you can add are certain elements that only add to the visual and not to the print. So let's click on dynamic image and let's add our base. Okay, yes, it's large. We will optimize. And now that we have this, we can extend this to the edge or just pick fit to canvas. So basically, this is our product base or product base image. So we can click, hold, and drag all the way down to make sure it's the last item on the page. If we start to see everything now, we're going to see that everything overlaps our product base. Remember, we want to shape our patterns and our cutting patterns to our preview our pajama. So we're going to add another dynamic image just to upload the cutting outline here. The cutting outline, as you see, is, and let me see if I can change the pattern so you can preview this. Right, you see, it's basically the same shape, but just the shape cut out, so we can extend this and start to see something more looking like a finished product, like this. Yes, we have the base, we have the patterns, and now we can start playing around with the information that we are printing. For example, the legs. So the printing file of the legs can be really big, like this, or really small, like that, but we actually only need to set only part of the visual. This is very important to remember because whatever you change on the preview will not affect the print. So I can actually grab all these items from the leg printing, and I can hide the cut pattern, and I can just rotate this so the name looks exactly what I want it is, and I can extend this to make sure I cover everything about my printing pattern, like this. At some point, you see the pants will end up in here, so I can stop at some point in here, and the text will be somewhere in there. Yeah, that pretty much looks the way I want things to show. Don't worry if it's not clear right now, but the next step will be to grab the sleeves, but the sleeves are not very useful in here because we have this folded. We just want to show the pattern, even if it's not perfect. The perfection will be on the print. Now the preview, the idea is to give a quick view and a clear shot of what you want to show. So in this case, we are going to view the front and the back in here. This is pretty big also. We're going to put this around in here. And what do we don't need from the front and back? We don't need the cut pattern. So that is hidden. And what do we need? We need this to be slightly, oh wait, sorry, let's center this again and make sure this is locked. This is we call this the mask, is the shape of, is the shape of the pajama, right? Lock it so we don't move this again by accident. And what I'm going to do is I was playing around with this file, and this file we can slightly rotate to match the preview, and we can extend this to cover the sleeves, just like that. Okay, one thing that can happen is, yes, I am just covering this because that's what I want, and I am covering this because that's the end of the pattern, like that. Let me see if I can make sure this is a bit smaller, like that. And this will end up in here, right? So this is the finished pattern. Let me hide these legs just for a second so I can grab this, and seems like we could use a slight rotation, like that. Yeah, this is what I want shown in my pattern. Yeah. What about the text here? Don't worry about the text. You are previewing. So if you grab the text and you put it in the exact place where you want it, and even if the right size that you want it, that's all you need right now. Then let's preview the legs again, hide the cut pattern, and that's pretty much what we want. The final touches we can do to this preview is give some more realism. This is very flat right now, so we want to add a couple of extra dynamic images to add some realism. The first will be the top texture, yeah, and we're going to upload this top mask. We can put this on top in here. You see it's starting to provide some wrinkle effect. This is all files you can create, or some of this, you can download from the print-on-demand provider altogether. So actually, we brought this from another print-on-demand provider just to have all the textures and all the information. In the end, we can drag this a bit down just to make sure it all cuts out correctly and has the right effect. Yep, just like that. And then we can do the same with the other dynamic image, which is going to be the legs texture. Yep. And we're going to upload our other piece of garment. We drag this here and we try to shape this to match this and also to match this. Yeah. Close enough. We can always zoom in to adjust the details that we want, like that. Yeah, pretty sure there, and then we drag this down. So now this looks pretty nice. We don't have to do anything else, but we may like this preview. We may want this to be bigger. So we can always unlock the mask and we select everything. We extend this and we can always change our preview to whatever we need to show better and bigger and higher, like this. And center also, like that. Yeah, that's more like it. And the advantage is everything you see here will change just the way we did before. Yeah, so now we have and also check it out. When you pick this and you type something, both of them will change. And then we make sure that they both will change in font and color. Right, so now that we have our preview settings all done, we can click next and do the final revision. Final revision is very important because it will give you the right idea of how Customily works. Even if you see this preview, you are printing the front like this. So whatever you type, whatever you pick as a pattern will reflect all in here in the preview, but will reflect in the print like this, in the sleeves and the legs. And if you type something, it will show on both print files together. That's the concept behind Customily. Even if you show something that is not quite accurate, it's still a clear idea of what you're going to be selling and providing and fulfilling. But you get the print file exactly the way you need it for fulfillment. So let's click save. And once we save this, we are ready to connect this to a product in Shopify. So I do have this product, okay? And I can actually find this product in Customily and unlink whatever I have right now. So if I were to find the pajama, I will find this. Right now, this is my product. And if I want this to be disconnected from Customily, all I have to do is, when it says template, I will click here to unlock, to unlink the template, and also to unlink the options. And I scroll down and I save, and this becomes a common listing in my store. So I can refresh this, and now this kid pajama will be just a product I can buy, just like that. There's no options, no nothing. There's a question about how do we remove one of the options. I would like to know which options are we talking about. I uploaded them one option at a time, but cannot remove one if the option without removing the whole element. Well, yes and no. The thing is, once you upload an image to a dynamic image, that image stays there. You can replace it, but you cannot delete from the object itself. You have two choices. You either upload a new one and you replace the original, Or what you can do is upload blank image, like a transparent image. So something will be there, but will have no data at all. It will be like a 0 kilobyte file. Or, like you said, you can just delete the dynamic image and start over. But yes, when you upload something, you have given that object an identity, and so it has something. You can pick which option you want to start uploading. So you can, instead of uploading in the first position, you can go to the second and start uploading in the second position. But once you upload something to a position, you can either replace it but not delete the content in there. So this kit pajama we have here, we can link this to Customily by picking a template. Remember, we are in the store section. We go to products or to link products, it's the same. We find from all our products, or even better, we browse and filter by those linked to Customily. They have the check mark, or not linked, and we can find the kit pajamas. I pick this, and I can pick any template that I have. So whenever I pick a template, Customily will ask me if I want to create the options. So live session pattern purchase. Yeah, this is the one. Let's create this option set. You see, it gives me the chance to create the options automatically. So it's going to start to read if we have text items, if we have image options, if we have font options, color options, everything. And we'll put together these options. Once they put the options together, we save it, and we can actually click here to preview these options. It's very nice because that way you can actually customize the flow for your shoppers. To begin with, you can click on the top right corner and preview the options. Since we have three elements to pick the pattern, right? We have the front, the sleeve, and the leg. We have three choices. Now, if we look into this, if we pick on the pencil to open this, we will see that this number 3 pattern is talking to dynamic image number 2. The second one is talking to dynamic image number 2, and the first one is talking to dynamic image number 2. So if they behave the same way, we don't need to have all three of them. They are talking to the same object in our template, so we can just remove this and this by clicking the delete button. And once I pick one pattern, I will affect all three objects. I will affect the front, the sleeve, and the legs. When it comes to type your name, it's exactly the same concept. Type your name, this choice will be targeting text number 3, and the other one will be targeting text number 3. That's why we made the IDs equal. So you don't need to have duplicated options. You just need to have one option. Of course, the system will always create the option because it will find an element. But if those elements have the same ID, you don't need to have one of them. The same goes with the fonts. You have two font choices because you have two text elements, but the elements have the same ID, so you can delete one, and the color will be exactly the same. And now we only have three choices: a pattern, a name, input. Sorry, four choices: a pattern selection, a name, input, a font choice, and a color choice. This way, customers will have this quick flow, but you will affect a lot of print files and a lot of objects at the same time. Let's save this option set, okay? And go back to the product setting in Customily and click on the eye icon to preview this on the store. Better yet, we have this open already. So since we have this connected and saved, we can now come to our store and refresh. And yes, now Customily will load, and it will load the preview. First, we have the four choices. First, we have the pattern selection. So if we click on this, it will show, give it a second, it's a pretty big image, they will show the pattern. If I type my name, it will show on both sides, and if I choose my font and my color, it will show like this. And if I pick it, changing fonts, and I can actually pick another pattern and pick another color and another font, lovely, and have this preview or this preview or this, who knows. And I can pick this other pattern and have this, and again show this. You see how the preview shows amazing, shows real, shows everything we need. But what about the print? Is the print going to work well? And this is the part in which we test the print. Customily has a feature that will allow you to test a print file without the need to place a test order or a mockup order or anything. You can grab this customization. In fact, I like this better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I like this. So I'm going to print all my free items out of this customization. How do I do it? We're going to share on the chat the link to the Help Center article that shows you step by step how to do what I'm going to show you. But basically, you need to retrieve your own API key from Customily. You have an API key that is exclusive to you, and put it on a specific code we provide you with no cost. That specific code will look something like this. Yes. And you can copy and paste this. And you can go to whatever product you have using Customily, whatever customization you did, and you right-click, go to Inspect, and it will open this. Now you click on the second tab at the top, and it will say Console. And in the console, at the end, you have a prompt area ready. You will paste this code. You will hit Enter, and the command will send out an order to retrieve these three different links. So what I need to do is I need to copy this link address, and again go to my any word processor and paste. This has three different links. It's separated by a comma here, right? And the other comma is in here, yeah, right. So now that we have these three links, each one of these links has a unique PNG for each print file. So I can grab this, copy, and open this in a browser. And this is my print file with the exact pattern and content I created. If they want a different name on the pants than on the shirt, then you will need to have two text boxes, but each text box will have a different ID. If I had kept the original new ID for the other text, the one on the legs, we go here, the one on the legs, this one was number 3, and if this was number 6, then I will have one name for the shirt and one name for the pants, and I will have two font and two color selections because they will behave differently, okay? And you could type different names for the top and the bottom. The way of doing that is basically making sure that IDs are unique. When you're building the template, you separate IDs instead of making them the same. When you make an ID the same, you replicate behavior, just like that. If you have unique IDs, all behaviors are unique. Let's try and you see the second print file here. This is the sleeves with the same pattern we pick. And finally, this should be the legs with the content we select. That's how, and this is just the compress. This is printing pretty big, high quality end result, exactly the way we need for our fulfillment. So with these 3 pieces, and of course I'm missing the other 3, we can put together this preview you see here. And that's how you put together all over print with multiple print files and pieces for a particular clothing product like this. And let's open a Q&A. Okay, let's do something about this. Let's let's go back to the presentation, okay, and do what we were asked about having two names, right? So let's close this option set. Let's go to the product setting in here, and if we click on this button here, we're going to open this template. It's like a shortcut to find the template we want. Now let's go to the template here, and just very simple, what we're going to do is we are going to, this type your name is number 3, okay, and this type your name will be number 6. Why? Because I think the last one is number 5, so let's change this to number 6. These now are independent text elements. Click done, next. Make sure we have the same here. We have, oh wait, we did 7, 8, 9. Uh-oh, yeah, sorry, one back. Apparently when I created the other items, I use up those IDs. So just so I don't make any mistakes, let's go number 10. Yeah, done, next. The thing is, I put number 6 and I realized that I had an image in here called number 6. So it would have been kind of a mess. So stick with everything. Let's say there's no repeated ID except for the ones we want, which are the select pattern in here, right? So new text is number 10. Let's click next. And now what will happen is I will type my name and I will not change the one on the leg. They will behave independently. Save it. And what we're going to do is once it's saved, okay, let's create more templates, go back to template section. It's okay, we have the product here, and this template has been updated, not replaced, just updated. And what we can do is remove this option set in the X and create again the option set. But now the difference is the options for the text elements will be independent, and that's very important to keep in mind. So we are not going to delete the font choice and the color choice, right? So this is a new option set. Let's save this and click to open. I recommend that we change the name of this option set because it's the same as the other one. But I'm going to call this the PJ's 2 names. Okay, and preview options. Again, this pattern never changed, so we're going to click delete and delete. But this type your name is for the top, and this type your name is for the bottom. So we're going to come here, open this, and say type your top name, select your top name font, select your top name color, and we keep going down, and here say your leg name font, y her log leg name color. Okay, all set, save it. We need to keep this font selection and this color selection and this text input because we have different IDs, so they will behave different. And again, we are always working on the same product, so we just refresh and that's it. We load the new version of the template and the new options. Okay, so when we pick this and we type this, say, right? That's one top name. And the last one here, let's change the font, and this will be the second name. That or like that. And now they are independent elements altogether. They still have the same behavior, everything working together, but they are now independent options just by changing the IDs. Well, I hope now that you have a more clear idea as to how to create these a bit complex products, but remember that most of the homework is done before coming to Customily. Having those assets, those images to provide a really cool preview, but at the same time have all shaped up for the printing purposes. Okay, and remember we have an excellent support team available to help you during your first steps and assist you with anything you need. You can contact them via email or you can open a live chat in the app during business hours. Also, you can join our Facebook communities where you can ask questions and share tips with other users of the app. And well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying this long with us. We're going to see you next Thursday on our new live session. Have a great day.